For a little bit more money, you can actually destroy a PS4 and an Xbox One when it comes to PC gaming. For around $550, you can build this destructive rig that can just demolish anything that you can throw at it at 1080p, and the PS4 and the Xbox One can't even handle that. So, if you can think about anything that the PS4 and the Xbox One can play, imagine it looking better, and it's going to have better frames per second, so you're going to actually be seeing more frames, and it's going to look less jittery than the PS4 and the Xbox One. So stay tuned for that. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that everybody has the essentials like a TV monitor thing, a keyboard and mouse. Really, you don't need an extreme gaming keyboard or mouse. If you have something decent that isn't really stuttering or uh, has any lag, then you should really be fine. So I'm just going to start out with the CPU. I chose the AMD FX 6300 processor, and I chose this because at its price range, it's really unbeatable. With 6 cores, it's really hard to beat it. So for the CPU cooler, I decided to go with the Cooler Master Hyper 212, and that's just to keep everything cool. If you are going to be doing a little bit of overclocking, I don't think that the stock cooler is going to be enough. So I just put the Cooler Master 212 just because that seems like something that everybody puts on. Everybody seems to be happy with it, and you can usually find that around $25. So it's pretty cheap, and it'll keep everything running nice and smoothly for a long time. For the motherboard, I didn't want to go all out, but at the same time, I didn't want to buy a cheap motherboard because I made that mistake in the past where I bought a cheap motherboard and I regretted it later on. So I went with the Gigabyte GA970A DS3P. You're probably saying, what the heck is that? If you want to look up reviews for it, go ahead. I'll have links in the description for my PC part picker links and stuff like that. So you'll be able to have links to like Newegg, Amazon, things like that directly from this site. So it has everything that we need. It's a good, reliable motherboard, and it's black, so that's pretty standard. But I think it looks nice, so I just went ahead and added that in. And when I say it has everything we need, I mean that it has Crossfire and SLI ready, and it has enough PCI and PCI Express slots to be able to upgrade in the future. For the RAM, I decided to go with one single stick of G.Skill Ripjaws X series, and that's 8 gigabytes at 1600. And I just decided to add a one 8 gigabyte stick just because I figured you guys would want to upgrade in the future instead of adding two 4 gigabyte sticks. It would be easier to upgrade in the future if you just had one 8 gigabyte stick. Honestly, 8 gigabytes is absolutely fine. That's what I have in my system right now. Unless you're going to be doing something really crazy like video editing or things like that, you really shouldn't need anything higher than 8 gigabytes. For the storage, I decided to go with the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1 terabyte storage hard drive, and I decided to go with this one because it's what I use in my personal rig. It was like $3 or $4 more than the Seagate 1 terabyte drive, but honestly, um, talking to people, Western Digital is a wonderful brand. They are really reliable, and I haven't heard anything bad about them, so I just decided to go with this one. For the video card, I went with the Radeon R9 270X, and I went with this because it has a crazy mail-in rebate. Right now, it's priced at like $150, so I decided to look up some benchmark frames per second for different games and stuff, and I decided this is the card I want to add into this system. So I decided to look up Skyrim, and people are saying that it's running at 90 frames per second at 1080 with the ultra settings or whatever the highest settings are. And at that price, that's actually pretty crazy. Ultra on Grid 2, you can expect to get an average of 60 plus frames per second on 1080p, but when you go to 1440p, you're going to see less than 50 frames per second. But if you lower the quality, you'll be able to make those FPS skyrocket. Another benchmark I have is for Battlefield 3, which is an older game, but it can give insight as to what this card can really handle. You can see 60 plus frames per second at 1080p on ultra settings, with just under 40 frames per second at 1440p. The same concept as we had with Grid 2, if you lower the quality a bit, you can expect those frames per second to jump through the roof. Case that I chose was the NZXT S340 case, and I chose this just because I'm a sucker for white cases, and they have it in white, and they also have it in black if that's your thing. And pretty much why I chose it is just because the cable management in it is awesome. I actually really like it, and with my case that I have right now, cable management is actually an issue. I'm actually working on modding my case, but with this case, it's absolutely crazy. The power supply actually goes under something, so you don't even see the power supply. Then you actually have to route the cables up past it, so you don't even have to route it into the back and then out towards your motherboard and stuff. It's just straight out from the back, so it actually gives it a really professional look without doing any extra work. For the power supply, I was actually really surprised that I could find a Corsair 550 watt 80 plus gold semi-modular power supply for around $40. And the reason that I was able to find this for $40 is because it has crazy mail-in rebates on it. It's originally $70 and I found it for $40 on Newegg. So I might actually get this for my personal rig just because I need an upgrade anyways, but if this is what you want, then this is what you want. This is going to give you room to upgrade in the future if you want, or if you want to add different hard drives and stuff, you're going to be able to do that with this 550 watt power supply. I think this is a really good build, actually, for someone that's just getting into PC gaming, and this is actually a really good build for anybody that wants to game at all. In my honest opinion, this is actually a really good build, and I'm surprised that I was able to get all of these parts for this cheap. So, thanks for watching, and if you want to see me do more videos like this where I just kind of go through my process of building things, make sure to subscribe and like the video, and that'll tell me that you guys definitely like this kind of video. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.